Alright, so this video here is going to be covering Sam Oven's strategy and how he was able to iterate and improve the software Skool alongside his audience and pretty much everyone that was involved early on, and how you as a creator or someone interested in kind of creating a paid community could pretty much implement the same exact strategy to help build up your own paid community and then have a product that you think is basically worth people paying for and actually provides value to them. So I kind of start out explaining Sam Oven's backstory with Skool here, how he implemented it, how he was basically iterating and improving the product, and then later on I just kind of dive into how you as a creator, whatever niche you may be in, could implement literally the same exact strategy. So just to get right into the first block here, this whole video is pretty much about Sam Oven's strategy for building Skool and how it's pretty much a model that any creator can copy to launch their own community. A lot of people totally overthink this process because they don't know what to charge, how to structure it, what to include, what sections there should be, blah, 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 pretty much the whole 9 yards. But Sam basically showed that you don't need to have all of these answers to start. So a lot of creators, they never launch their community because they're stuck in their head about it. So they think they need perfect pricing, the perfect structure, and all of the actual content figured out in the community before anyone actually joins. And this is the primary fear that paralyzes them, so they never actually test their idea in the real world, and they never actually get the feedback that would actually make it good. So this is what you do not want to do. And essentially the idea is, when Sam Ovens was initially building Skool, he didn't start with a perfect product. Instead, he opened up a free community initially and was essentially inviting a bunch of people in which worked alongside him. And the members essentially were telling him what they wanted, so the type of features that they wanted, the different kind of like designs that they liked. They gave feedback on the features and helped shape the direction. And basically Sam and his team were implementing all of this input along the way. So they were implementing all the changes, they were testing stuff, and they kept repeating that kind of iterative cycle until Skool evolved into the platform that it is today. So the entire process is just a feedback loop. So you start with something very simple and free. You bring people in and you let them share what's missing or what they would actually love to see in a community like this. Then you take the input that they give you, make changes, and improve the product and iterate over time until you have a very valuable community. So over time, it just keeps getting better and better and better as you start implementing more stuff, listening to all of the feedback, seeing what people want. And it's almost like your members are pretty much doing all of the research for you and building up your own product. And you're basically just building with their help instead of having to guess everything kind of on the first try around and build out this entire community and then launch it and then give it to them and then hope you kind of got it right and hope people are actually getting value for what they're paying for to basically join the community. And essentially why this strategy works, in my opinion, is because it flips the pressure upside down. So instead of trying to invent something perfect out of thin air, you're essentially co-creating with real people who want to be there. So they feel ownership because they've helped shape it. And when you do start charging, they're already very invested and willing to pay, since they feel like it's partly theirs and they had kind of an impact in actually creating it. And it removes the fear of messing up and turns it into a process of constant iteration until you are basically able to charge for it. But the kind of trap that you don't want to fall into here is essentially just kind of like iterating forever and never feeling like your product is perfect, because there's always going to be changes you can make. There's always going to be stuff that actually could be better. And it does come to a point where the kind of opportunity cost of trying to constantly iterate and trying to add new features and stuff like that and keep it free does become too large. So you need to be wary of this and try not to iterate forever. Obviously, in the initial process, you can be working alongside them, getting the input, implementing all the features, putting in different like content banks, whether it's video modules for the specific niche you're in that could help out the people, sort of like a static course within a community. Pretty much all of that stuff. But it does get to a point where it is an MVP. People are going to get value from kind of like paying for it, and you can start charging for it. So do not fall into that trap. Just wanted to mention that really quick. So basically, if you're a creator who's scared to start, and the easiest path is essentially to open up a free community and be honest that it's a work in progress. So you're basically inviting a bunch of people in, asking them what would make it valuable, and then building based on their responses. So you're running sessions, trying ideas, and you just keep tweaking everything over time. And over time, the community itself will tell you exactly what's worth paying for. And by the time you flip it into a paid offer, you already know people want it because they were helping you kind of build it the entire way around. So the biggest lesson here, or the biggest takeaway, is that you don't necessarily need everything figured out to start a community of your own. You just need to start, involve your audience, push them into the free group, and let their input guide the entire process. So it's essentially just kind of working on the fly, literally getting input from them and implementing everything that your audience is telling you to do. Obviously, not every suggestion they're going to give you is going to be correct, but for the most part, the customer knows best and they know what they're basically coming for. So you're creating a product that is absolutely ideal for your customer, and it's exactly what they would want to see in the community. So this is pretty much exactly how Sam Ovens was able to build Skool into what it is today. And it's the same method you could use to create a community that's not only valuable, but also really easy to sell to your audience, because a very solid portion of your audience actually helped you build it. So you know it is a desired product, essentially. So hopefully this kind of breakdown here kind of lowered some of the psychological barriers some people have with kind of creating a paid community, and broke down the strategy that he was able to implement for building the software of Skool, pretty much iterating on it with people that are interested in the software and implementing all of their stuff. And hopefully my explanation of how you as a creator could actually implement this yourself was helpful.